Hello everybody, welcome back to the hottest movie review series on the planet. Today we'll be discussing The Lost World Jurassic Park. Wanted to continue on from yesterday's review. Again, at least the first three Jurassic Parks are for free on Tubi. So movies from a while ago, wanted to review them. You know how we do it. Overall impressions and grade after reading the logistics as provided by Google. If you have not seen the movie and would like to, after I give my grade, you're going to shut off the video and then. There will be spoiler alerts. We'll be discussing the plot synopsis and any character development in similar movies or major themes. So obviously this is the sequel to the first Jurassic Park that was released in 1993. The Lost World Jurassic Park is rated PG-13. It was originally released in 1997. The setting is modern day to 1997. It is a science fiction / adventure film. Has a runtime of 2 hours and 14 minutes. Like I said, you can watch it for free on Tubi, Peacock, Philo, and pay for it for $3.99 and a bunch of other things. So it says, John Hammond, played by Richard Attenborough, summons chaos theorist Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, to his home with some startling information. While nearly everything at his Jurassic Park had been destroyed, his engineers happened to have a second site where their dinosaurs were kept in hiding. It seems the dinosaurs on the second island are alive and well and even breeding, and Hammond wants Malcolm to observe and document the reptiles before Hammond's financiers can get to them. Again, like I said, released in 1997, budget of $73 million, and did $618.6 million at the box office. Again, directed by Steven Spielberg. 84% liked it on Google, 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. What did I think? Again, I've seen these before. These are movies I've seen like a bunch of times. I enjoyed rewatching this one more than the first one. I found it entertaining. I thought it was just a little stronger on the writing script. And just overall, I thought the plot moved along a little better. Really same kind of tone, same kind of characterizations. Nothing really off-putting. Some of the lines are a little dated. But I thought this one was a little stronger than the first one. Definitely on the rewatch. So I'm going to give this one a solid B for entertaining. So I recommend these. Big cultural hits if you've not seen them. Widely popular. Everyone's heard of Jurassic Park. But if you've not seen it, I recommend it. I find it fun. Like I said, I like science fiction, and science fiction and adventure I think is a good combination. So overall, I recommend this. If you've not seen this, we'll be discussing the plot now. Movie opens up. There's an English family on a beach somewhere, and this young girl, they're getting ready for lunch, and she wants to go play. And she goes out, a couple hundred yards away from her parents and just guardians, and she eats a little dinosaur, just a little, I don't know dinosaurs, but one of the little guys. And she's just kind of curious, gives him some chicken or roast beef or something, and then a bunch of them come out and start kind of attacking her. And so she starts screaming, and then her family starts running over. So the next scene you get is John Hammond, who was again the originator of the Jurassic Park from the first one, who agreed that the park was a total failure. He has summoned Ian Malcolm. Ian Malcolm comes in. You see just very brief appearances from Lex Murphy and Tim Murphy from the original ones. Really, I think the only original cast member from the first one is Jeff Goldblum and Ian Malcolm. Like Addie Sattler and the other guy was not in the second one, which I did not remember. But regardless, Hammond tells Malcolm his plan. He's like, we have this second site as was read in the description, and I want you to go document it, and if we can document it, we can do some other thing or something. And so Ian's like, no, this is absolutely a horrible idea. We should never do this. It was obviously a failure, and I don't need to be that close to death anymore. Why would we ever do this? And so John tells him he has already got 3 people that have already signed up or kind of agreed. And Ian learns one of them is Dr. Sarah. I couldn't read the last name on the character list, but Dr. Sarah is Ian's girlfriend. And so Ian's freaking out. He's now like, I would absolutely not go there, but now that my girlfriend's there, this is a rescue mission. We have to go and save and rescue them. And so you meet Ian goes to like this warehouse factory where they're building kind of just like equipment to take with them. And I believe that is played by the Eddie character. Again, the 30-year-old cast list or 25-year-old cast list or whatever, hard to kind of match the people to the names. But I believe Eddie's kind of, they build this like kind of like double wide trailer, as well as the guy calls it a high hide, or it's just like a metal cage that takes you up into the trees to get you away from the floor of the dinosaurs. And Ian's like, puts us at prime biting distance or height. But regardless, they're preparing equipment to go. And so Ian has a daughter, Kelly Malcolm. She is, I don't know, give or take 12 years old. She gets cut from her school gymnastics team, and she kind of has a back and forth with Ian about, just his parenting style or whatever. And Ian's like, gets called down to some meeting room, and Ian's just like, don't listen to my advice. And so Ian and Eddie get all their equipment ready, and then they head out to this island. And so they get to the island, and Sarah's already there. They find her pack, and it's all torn up, and Ian's thinking that she's gotten eaten, and then they start seeing this big, stegosaurus or whatever the dinosaur is. And so Ian is the crew, Eddie is in the crew, as well as, again, the Vince Vaughn character, what was his name? Nick Van Owen. He is the, photographer. And so they see these big stegosauruses or whatever, dinosaur, and they're taking pictures, and they see Sarah standing kind of right next to him taking pictures. And so they meet up, Sarah's safe, and she's like, this is my lucky pack, that's why it's all torn up. Ian is freaking out about, why did she come, this, blah, blah, blah. And Dr. Sarah's characterization is she has worked around predators her whole life, or been studying predators since she's been 20. And so then they start seeing smoke at the campsite. And so they all run back to see what's going on, as well as they don't want to attract more dinosaurs. And they realize that Kelly had, tagged along in the trailer or whatever, and she was trying to cook lunch or dinner. And so Ian's like, we have to get you off the island immediately. They keep trying to call people off on the satellite phone. When they originally get dropped off at the island, I think it's somewhere like in Costa Rica, but the dude won't even get close to the island because it's called, what is it? Los Cinco Muertos, the 5 Dead, or whatever, that's what the islands are called. Regardless, they go back and they're trying to get a satellite phone to get Kelly off the island. When they're doing that, they start to see, there's supposed to be a small crew there, then they see a bunch of other helicopters and other equipment being flown in by a crew of 100 to 200 people. And so they're kind of confused as to what's going on. Ian tells Kelly to stay in the trailer, and they go to, kind of investigate to see what's going on with this group. In their group, you kind of have the main guys, Roland Tembo. He's kind of the running and directing things. I think you have another minor character in Dieter Stark, who gets eaten later on, but again, can't match the characters to the actors and actresses all the time. Regardless, Ian, Nick, and Sarah kind of go up on the ridge to see what they're doing. And Roland's team is, basically capturing dinosaurs to take them back to a special park in San Diego this time. And so they see that's what's going on. Roland Tembo really wants to hunt, just as like a trophy hunter. He wants to kill a male T-Rex, the alpha predator. He wants to take it down. So that's kind of his agreement. It's like, you can keep the money, just let me hunt one of these T-Rexes. I'm probably gonna sneeze here in a second. But regardless, they're capturing animals with different lassos and just different sedative equipment. And so they have this excuse me. They have this tranquilizer gun, and they're prepared to use it or whatever. And so they're just collecting dinosaurs. And so in the evening time, they kind of go up on the hill to see what their base camp looks like. Again, the Ian, Nick, and Sarah. And they see them all, capturing and putting all of these dinosaurs in cages, and they're giving a broadcast to their company board, which is called InGen, saying, look at all of these different specimens and stuff. We'll have you have a great return on your investment. And then Nick and Nick and Sarah at least start unlocking the cages and letting the dinosaurs roam, letting them loose. So they start to wreak havoc throughout this other kind of group's headquarters or just campsite, and then. At that same time, Roland had found a baby T-Rex that has been the parents had left him alone for a little bit in the nest, and so they kind of kidnap it or capture it and then put it out as a trap to try to lure the big T-Rexes in so Roland can kill them. Nick sees once the campsites are getting destroyed, Roland and his other crew member has to run. And so Nick picks up the baby T-Rex and it's got a broken leg. And so they take it back to the trailer thing. Kelly starts to get really uneasy because it's crying a bunch. It's going to attract the big T-Rexes. And so Kelly and Ian and Eddie go up in the high hide thing that he had built. And so while he's up there, they can kind of see the trees start to shake as the big T-Rex is coming. Nick and Sarah are working on resetting the leg of the T-Rex so it can heal properly. And Ian starts calling him frantically on the phone. They don't pick up. And then, so Ian runs back down there to try to save his girlfriend and his friend. And so, regardless, they're in the trailer and the two big T-Rexes show up. And so they slowly try to, try to let the baby out, so maybe they'll leave them alone. And so they let the baby out with the adults, and then they think they're kind of safe. And then Ian sees them, the T-Rexes are kind of like charging again. They knock the trailer over on its side, and they start pushing it over a cliff. And so they all have to hold on to something. Pretty classic scene. Like the first time watching this, I really remember this scene well. But a trailer falls over the cliff. It's got like a glass thing, and they're just trying to hold on for dear life. And so Sarah holds on to like a cupboard board, and so she like falls open and she loses her grip. She falls down on the glass and cracks it. And her handbag is about to fall off of this lamp, like this thing slide down and fall, and once it falls down, it's going to break the glass. So that slowly happens, and then Ian is able to use her lucky pack and like hold it out to her, and she's able to grab it, and so she's dangling on by there. At which point, Eddie, who's up with Kelly in the hide place, comes down to try to help them. He ties up his car to the trailer, tries to pull it back onto the thing. It's not really working too well, and then the T-Rexes come back, rip off the head of his car, and eat him. They kind of like tear him in half. And so Eddie gets eaten, at which point the trailer, it's got like one trailer teetering, the other one's head dangling over the edge, at which point it falls through. There's still, all three of them are holding onto this rope, and the trailer kind of falls around them. And then the Roland Tembo crew pulls up to try to help them, or see what's going on, and they're able to pull them all up. And they're like, the Roland's like, he just ate, and Ian or Nick's like, be respectful. That was Eddie trying to save us, gave his life for ours, and he's like, regardless, our satellites are down, none of us have any communications, and we need to signal that we need to leave. And so they need to go find this other utility closet, or this pretty much just the old headquarters of the Jurassic Park. And so they start trekking through the woods. And so as they're trekking through the woods, a bunch of like velociraptors, so they have to go closer inland, and that's where all the velociraptors' nests are. So they start trekking through this high grass, and a bunch of them start getting eaten. Also, the Dieter Stark, I believe it's Dieter Stark, but somebody on the just the Roland crew is like, he goes to go to the bathroom, and a bunch of the little guys that hurt the girl in the beginning, and you do learn that the girl in the beginning didn't die, she's got hurt by the dinosaurs. But Dieter's go to the bathroom, he's armed, he's got a weapon, and he trips and falls down and loses his weapon. He's kind of like laying in this like low running water, a little creek or something, and these things start biting him and eating him, and he's able to fight him off for a little bit, and then he falls down again, and they all pick him apart. It's PG-13, but they eat him up. And so Roland learns that Dieter is missing, and basically like goes to look for him, and realizes that they just find the remains of the parts that the dinosaurs didn't eat. And so Dieter's dead. I believe that was the character. But regardless, they're like, don't tell the girl, don't tell Kelly Malcolm that someone got eaten. But anyway, they're trekking through this environment to find a way to communicate to the mainland, or to their rescuers, or to their people. And so they find like a shed, or again this outpost, outhouse type of thing, or just utility building. And Nick is able to call to the mainland that they need rescued or saved. And the Roland Tembo group kind of goes their other way, or just they're all scattered because of the velociraptors. And while they're in there, right after Nick is able to signal for help, there's another action sequence where the velociraptors try to eat them. Kelly and Sarah are able to climb up on the rafters. Ian runs in to help them, and they're trying to originally trying to dig their way out, and then a velociraptor tries to come through where they're digging. And so Ian comes in to save them, and they're like, watch out, when he walks into the building, and, there's a velociraptor there. And so Kelly, from her gymnastics thing, is able to, like, do, I don't know, high bar, low bar moves and kick the velociraptor, and it happens to land on, like, a spike or just a tree branch, and gouges it and punctures it. And so they're out of the woods briefly. Kelly is, like, on the roof, and she's able to, like, the tiles are, like, Spanish type of tiling for a roof, and she's able to, like, knock them down so the velociraptor falls down. The two velociraptors start kind of bickering with each other, and so they're able to escape. And so they all kind of start leaving. They get on their helicopter. Sarah, Kelly, and Ian and Nick are kind of relieved. They're on the helicopter, and as they're on the helicopter, they see that Roland's team has subdued. He was able to tranquilize one of the big T-Rexes. He wanted to kill it, but he's able to tranquilize it, as well as the adolescent T-Rex. And so they see them bringing them back captive. And so they land back on the mainland, or San Diego area, I believe. And they're all kind of Roland, or somebody's giving I don't even know if it's Roland, but somebody's giving the head guy of the InGen, the company, the dude that replaced John Hammond. He's telling the board, and this is going to be a new era for dinosaurs. It's going to be the best theme park, whatever. And then they see a ship coming too close to the harbor without slowing down, and it crashes onto the mainland, and the crew has been eaten up by dinosaurs, and the T-Rex escapes along with the baby, or I guess the baby is still heavily tranquilized and in human possession. And so this T-Rex starts ravaging through the town in San Diego. He goes up to a little kid's room, and the kid's like, goes to his parents, like, there's a dinosaur outside, and they start yelling at each other, like, he's not eating right, he's not sleeping, blah, 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 like, what is our kid talking about? And they see the giant dinosaur outside the window eating the dog. And so that's what happens there. And so now they're on a big race to try to, lure the T-Rex back. Ian and Sarah go to this park in San Diego where they're supposed to, have these dinosaurs, and that's where the infant's being kept. And so they pick up the infant, and now they're trying to, take it back to, basically what they want to do is, like, lure the adult back with the child back into this cage to take them back to the island. And so they're able to do that pretty well. They put the infant or the adolescent back in this, like, traveling container thing. The dude who runs InGen wants to keep the adolescent alive for himself and shoot for his business and shoot the adult one. And so he's there in this shipment container and trying to, recollect the baby adolescent one, and then the big one comes, and then, again, PG-13, but the adolescent one jumps on him and eats him up too. So the owner of InGen is now eaten as well. And the resolution of the movie is they're able to tranquilize the adult before they shoot it and close this big enclosure where they can transport him back to the island. And so the resolution to the movie is them taking the adult and adolescent T-Rex back to the island off Costa Rica, and basically saying, we're going to take every precaution. John Hammond has some narration or just, some overview saying, we're never going to let this happen again, and they'll be able to thrive by themselves on their own island, and we'll try to keep it intact. So that's really the resolution of the movie. Obviously, there's more subsequent ones, so the plot still develops. So I'll most certainly review the Jurassic Park 3 tomorrow. But overall, I enjoyed this one better than the first one, so I gave it a B. So thank you for watching my review of The Lost World, Jurassic Park, and I will see you on the next one.